All right, so Bill, will the legal battles former President Trump and Hunter Biden are facing have an impact on the presidential race? For that, we bring in Dr. Laura Wright. She's Associate Research Scholar and Lecturer in Politics and Public Affairs at Princeton University. So, all right, Lauren, so who's really paying close attention to former President Trump's conviction, and how might it impact their vote?
Probably not swing voters yet, and those are the single most important group of voters. You know, I've really never seen anything like this. Neither campaign is playing hard for those independent voters yet. They're both trying to energize their bases with these messages that don't really touch home as far as the polling goes. On the Biden side, you know, every time they mention Trump and his legal troubles, it does bring the attention on Hunter. It is sort of a message that falls flat, but this big democracy is at risk if you elect Trump message is not what voters care about. They care about the economy. On the Trump side, every time he makes it about himself, every time he makes it about relitigating the 2020 election, that's also something voters say is not their top priority. And so both campaigns need to kick this into high gear and frankly stop talking about the legal stuff.
All right, so I'd like to right now share a Reuters Ipsos poll that closed on Friday. Now, that was the day after the jury's unanimous decision. So it says 1 in 10 registered GOP voters said Trump's felony conviction for falsifying business records would make them less likely to support him for president, with 56% of Republican voters saying the outcome of the case would have no effect on their vote, and 35% said they were even more likely to support Trump. So with which voting sector is Trump most vulnerable? I mean, you mentioned that neither party is playing for independence. And in what part of the country will we see stronger support post-conviction for Trump?
Well, I've seen the argument that among Republicans, and I saw the same poll that you did, Arthel, this conviction is very energizing for them. I don't know what that means, because election winning is a business of adding people to your cause. It's not getting the people who were already going to vote for you really excited. I mean, that might help with fundraising, and clearly it has. But if you ask me, how does this conviction translate into more votes for Trump? I can't give you that answer. I'm very surprised it doesn't seem to hurt him at all. And it's a big zero. I think the summary of those numbers that you just cited, that's the conclusion of it. But that doesn't help him bring more people into the fold. Maybe later on, those messages will become more targeted toward independent voters, but right now they're not.
Well, after the conviction, he received a lot of money overnight in the next 24 hours, like 58.2 million, something like that. That's a lot of money. So are you just thinking that that's only coming from his base, or would that mean that more people are coming to his camp?
I think it does, and it would be impressive if it's brand new small dollar donors, and that's certainly a great message to send. Look at all of these people that are now coming into the fold. But
that's what they're saying, it's small dollar donors.
Well, I don't know how many are first-time donors. That's something that I would want to know. If they are, that would be very impressive. But to be honest, Trump is the likely GOP nominee. He's going to raise a ton of funds. People are furious at Biden. I'm sure he is going to get a lot of fundraisers. And so I'm not even convinced that he wouldn't be doing so well at fundraising without these charges. He might even be doing better. No one has definitive evidence of that. He's going to be very, very successful no matter what he does.
Okay, so the son of President Biden, Hunter Biden, accused of lying on a federal gun purchase form. So his trial will begin tomorrow. That's going to happen in Wilmington, Delaware. Do you expect Hunter Biden's legal woes to impact votes for President Biden?
I don't. And that's something I've been saying for a very long time. You know, it's a big stretch for voters to make, to jump from evaluating the candidate on their own behavior to evaluating their family members and then making that change the decision. It's similar to if a surrogate behaves badly, do voters change their vote? No, not really. Does it make them stay home? Does it make them go out? Probably not. You know, that's a tough sell for voters. However, it does make it harder for the Biden camp to repeatedly make this claim that Trump's a convicted felon, when, Biden's son very much might end up in the same camp.
Right. But isn't there a difference, though? Trump, on the one hand, was the former president.
Absolutely.
It's a higher bar, and he wants to be president again. And, certainly not letting Hunter Biden off the hook, but he's not running for office.
It's true. And family members of presidential candidates have behaved badly in a lot of different years and a lot of different contexts. And so usually what we see is that this doesn't tend to affect the candidate themselves all that much.
All right, let's move ahead to June 27th, the scheduled Biden-Trump debate. First of all, do you think both candidates will show? And then I was going to ask you if you think it would be in Trump's best interest to answer the moderator's questions or use his platform to try to relitigate his New York case, which you already said he shouldn't do it. So if Trump should not relitigate the case during the debate, what should he be saying? And again, will they both show up?
Answer the questions and keep it on policy if you can. But really where Trump thrives on the debate stage, is these personal jabs that, a lot of people sort of wince at it and they wish our politics didn't look like this, but that's what gets the attention. That's what gets replayed the next day. And so
okay,
if the argument is,
Lauren,
it's all about show business, sure.
Right. Excuse me. I mean, I want to jump in on your point because that's what gets the attention. That's what gets our attention. And we, the media, we play it over and over. But that doesn't mean that it's resonating really with people at home and the voters.
Right. People would probably rather a process that wasn't entertainment and was more informative, but that's just not what the process is set up for. That's not what the presidential debate process looks like. When we look at debates back in history, jokes, jabs, those are the moments people remember the most, and that's a lot of the time why they tune in, I think. But yes, they should both debate, and I hope they do, and nobody should skip it, Arthel.
Oh, that's a good point. Nobody should skip it. Come November 5th, will this be reduced to a parlor game? 34 felony convictions, are you in or you out? Or do you think most Americans understand the gravity and historical nature of the jury's unanimous and unprecedented decision?
I don't think they think it's as serious as a lot of people in the media who are getting really emotional about this on both sides of the aisle, because people are just wondering, how does this impact this person's ability to make my family more prosperous, my family more safe? How does this make my life easier on a day-to-day basis? And frankly, when they look at immigration, when they look at crime, when they look at everything that's happening in New York City, they probably think that's more of a threat to them and their families than Trump and these, very controversial, not okay business and legal decisions. Paying hush money to a porn star is not something people can relate to, but it's hard to make the jump that that's a threat to you and your family in the same way that they think Biden's policies are currently hurting them. A lot of people feel that way.
We have to leave it right there. Lauren Wright, always good to talk to
Okay.
you. Take care. Thank you.